point we were talking about earlier. I mean, we were just bringing that up, the 12 games in 30 days. How has the time off been to get those guys some mind space and also get back into a normal routine heading into tomorrow's game against Lipscomb?
I think it hasn't been a normal routine the last 4 weeks, but our guys got used to it. So I just think being able to have a bye in the first round was healthy for us because we couldn't prep for either team because we didn't know who we were going to play. We gave them Sunday off. Monday was fairly moderate practice. Yesterday, short but competitive, and then Wednesday, day before a game, we'll do our normal practice routine. So to answer your question, I think it was good for us. Hindsight's always 20/20. We'll see after the result Thursday night, but I do think you have to earn the opportunity to be in that spot, and I think our guys did that. So hopefully we'll come out fresh against the Bison.
John?
And like you mentioned, you get Lipscomb Thursday night. Second time playing these guys this year, but they're a familiar opponent for Liberty, especially in March. What type of challenges do they present? Obviously, Asajala is another first-team all-conference guy, but they've got some other guys that seem like Benham has been coming on strong here the last stretch run.
Well, first of all, it just shows your media savvy that you got Asajala's pronunciation correct. I've heard other games where they not so much. Anyway, yeah, I think the world of Lenny Acuff. I think he's just a fabulous coach. They really do some creative things offensively that put your defense at a disadvantage, occasion after occasion. And so when they don't have their first action, they get to the next action. It's inbred in their program. Like they get to that next action so quickly, and then even a third action in a given possession. So you add that combined with the best interior scorer that's not at a high major, in my opinion, east of the Mississippi, and Hassan Asajala, who's also a great passer, presents a lot of challenges. And we have a ton of respect for Lipscomb Bisons. Sorry, I think I said Bison before. And it's tournament time, guys. So guys and gals, I see Emily's on the call, even though she doesn't show her face. I think for us that the key is to just stay in our lane and be who we are. And you hear me say that over and over, but that's what March is about. We're not playing Lipscomb's record. I'll close with this because this is too long of an answer. Just go back and watch Lipscomb against Dayton early in the season, and you can see how dangerous they are. The numbers can sometimes seduce you into thinking, oh, we should because the numbers say this. But that's irrelevant during a game. Don't get me wrong. I see the analytics. I look at them. I pay heed to some of the numbers. But I'm old enough in this to know, and you got to earn victory. And they are certainly a difficult opponent to do so.
Em?
Coach, I think I asked you this earlier this season about having such a young team, and if you changed your coaching style or approach at all, having so many more younger guys on the team, how does that approach change, or what do you present to them as far as like getting ready for tournament play and helping them understand how different conference tournament postseason play is from their regular season?
Yeah, you can say all you want, but until the ball gets tipped, they won't realize it until then. So we don't spend a lot of time talking about what the atmosphere is going to be like. We do that in the non-conference and during the conference. That's why we say on the other side of hard is usually what you want. But, for us, and I alluded to this a little bit in answering John's question, I think if there's been anything that we've changed, it's been I really trust this group. So we've given freedom offensively where I'm sure Caleb and Lavelle look at us like, man, I wish we could have had the green light that McGee has. And subsequently, it's caused us to play a more possession game. But that change it was necessitated by, look, guys, we had a projected starter leave at the middle of the year, and I get why Drake decided to transfer, but we've kind of had to reshape our team. And what I love about this group is they've morphed into a version that I didn't know we had. So I don't know if experience plays as much of a role this time of year as you playing in your identity does. You're welcome.
Richie, you brought up identity, and you mentioned this, I think, last week about what you do every day. Those habits have been eroding a bit during this stretch. Were you able to, recommit to those during that time and get back to where, this defense will be, really sound on Thursday?
Yeah, I wish I could predict that, but no, not in 2 days, 3 practices. You can't. Habits are built on, they're an accrual of what you do every day. So, do I think we have good habits? Yes. Are our habits good enough to win in March? We'll see. But I will say this, the group that we're privileged to coach, man, they're all in. Like, they're not mistake-free. They'll lose a little bit of focus because, we all want them to play perfect, but they're conscientious. They play together, and they have a belief in our system and themselves that I think will give us a chance.
John?
Kyle Road was honored earlier this week, second team all-conference. We talked a lot about him over his career. You talked about how he's, a second coach on the floor. By having someone like that on the floor and playing a lot of minutes, does that give you a sense of relief throughout the game? I know, especially close minutes, and in March it can be some tense moments, but having a guy like him that he's going to make the right play each and every time, and have his teammates, on the same page, I guess.
Yeah, you guys watch, like, having Kyle Road in any month of the year is a blessing. It could be June. Having Kyle Road is really good for your team, your family, and your friendships or relationships. He's a special young man. I do think, per your point, his voice, his confidence, his leadership gift, all those add value to our group. And I love him. I want to go back. I want to rewind the clock a little bit. When this team was 1-3, and we had just got beaten by Manhattan and boat race by Manhattan and lost to Iona, like, there wasn't a whole lot of confidence in Kyle Road from the outside. And even I was like, man, are we playing the right way? Because he doesn't look like himself. So I just think that's something that we have to take into consideration. Like, this group has really improved over the course of time. And if you want to point to one person, because Darius will get all the attention because his PPGs. But if you want to point to one person that has been a catalyst to moving that needle, it's Kyle Road.
Matt? M?
Yeah, I'll just ask you, Warfield, these last 4 minutes has taken a huge jump, or last 4 games has taken a huge jump in minutes. What did you see in him that kind of maybe you gave him this much more of an opportunity here down the stretch of the season when, you're heading now into tournament play? Do you see, what have you seen that makes you feel that way heading into the tournament, that you can continue to get that kind of opportunity?
Yeah, I think part of it, Matt, is just our need for another defender on the floor, and he's really earned that role. I think Dame has mentioned how much energy that we all see he brings to the court. He's sacrificial in nature, doesn't care about scoring but can score. We'll take a charge, we'll dive on the floor for a loose ball. So all those intangibles, those quote-unquote 95% things, I think has earned him an opportunity to get on the floor, and he's capitalized on it. So, people have asked, even people on this call, well, how come Brody's not playing as much? Shout out him. Isaiah has really done a great job with the minutes he's been given. Now, Brody Peebles is a special player and going to be one of the ones that we all remember. But Isaiah has just a little bit more in terms of, I kind of know what this is supposed to look like. So I've trusted him a little bit more the last 4 games, and he's come through.
Rich, I wanted to ask you about, you talked about their actions, especially in their sets, and it looks like Hazen's really coming to his own when he and Nostalgia can work high-low, and he seems to give them an extra dynamic presence down there that you do have to account for.
Well, I don't remember who it was, but Trey Benham has really helped them as well because he's such an elite shooter. And then they come off the bench with shooters and Schulman, Murr, a host of guys. It's kind of eating into KJ's minutes. But I think you're right, Dame. I think Parker Hazen, who's a senior, Greg Jones, who's a senior, I think both of those are fifth-year guys. They've just got a veteran group that, if you look back, they were on the 19 team, I think. Well, I know Greg started, ASUN started. I think Parker started as well, along with Buckland and KJ. So that's an experienced group that has been to Lynchburg a few times. So I do think the combination of those two playing off of one another is important, but I think they present challenges as a group.
M.
Coach, this might be a silly question for how long you've been coaching, but in postseason play, do you get to a different level of excitement or jitters going into the game, or is it same old for you?
Do you want the coach speak answer, M, or do you want the real?
I want the real deal.
Yeah, I don't sleep much during this time of year. There's a little bit of anxiousness, especially when you have an expectation. My daughter had a great quote the other day. She said, "Expectations lay dormant until they're unmet," and I thought that was really good. She also had this one. She's becoming like her dad, but I know she'll listen to this interview. How did she say it? She said, "What you don't die to, you'll eventually die from." And boy, I thought that was really good, because I think we all have a tendency to want to be approved by others, and we cannot live for that. So I got to remember my identity as we go through the postseason, and not let maybe the burden of expectation that I put on myself or that maybe other people have on our program. I got to make sure I just appreciate and hold with a deep sense of gratitude the privilege it is to coach the group that we do, whether we win or lose. So long-winded answer, M's, but that's the real.